My name is Markus Fromm. I'm Managing Director of Accenture in Zurich. And I'm here today with Benjamin Pfeiffer from ioki and Hartmut Heinrich from Fjord to present to you our new perspectives for traffic planning. Once upon a time, the renaissance of local public transport was seen as a foregone conclusion. Offerings in the metropolitan areas grew, new pricing models increased attractiveness, and the reactivation of railway lines and alternative transport concepts were discussed even in rural areas. New mobility offers from on-demand ride-sharing to taxis to rental cars and scooters made last mile options more appealing for passengers. And last but not least, barriers to access have fallen significantly thanks to digitization. The smartphone is, in the truest sense of the word, the key to public transport and new mobility services. But then came COVID-19, and with it a huge question for the industry. What impact will the pandemic have on our mobility behavior? And what are the consequences for transport companies and mobility providers? One thing is clear. If you want to create attractive local public transport offerings, even during the pandemic, you have to change your perspective. Today, more than ever, we have to understand people's needs, their fears, their habits, their willingness to rethink their lives, to tailor their personal mobility preferences. In order to encourage more residents to switch to public transport, the Swiss Federal Railways, SBB, Geneva Public Transport Company, TPG, and its counterpart in Lausanne, the TL, joined forces to bring the ARC Mobilité initiative to life. The ARC Mobilité initiative aims to develop an integrated transport concept for the Lake Geneva area and link to a variety of multimodal options. It aims to get people out of their cars and onto public transport as easily and quickly as possible, with a target of replacing 10,000 car journeys a day. We took up the challenge to test our hypothesis and discuss the outcomes in a wider forum consisting of all the stakeholders involved. We combined quantitative and qualitative methods to synthesize psychology and traffic data. Not only does this approach pinpoint service gaps, it also provides important information early in the planning phase on how future mobility offerings should be designed in order to appeal to local users. In a first stage, we did a mobility analysis taking on the data view. Thanks to digitization, we can obtain a very precise picture of regional traffic flows, traffic flow information, as well as infrastructure, geographic, and social demographic conditions, yield detailed insights into particular planning areas' requirements. We then enrich this data by simulating demand in a specific target group. For this purpose, we evaluate door-to-door journeys based on individual movement data, which offer precise insights into actual mobility patterns. The second stage, we perform the user needs analysis. Once planners analyze the hard data, the second stage focuses on user psychology to understand attitudes towards new mobility offerings, determine general mobility behavior, and shape the offerings to better suit user preferences. To better track and analyze user behavior, it's necessary to group them in categories. A global study by Volkswagen, Accenture, and Fjord, featuring more than 50,000 respondents, has valuable preliminary work here. With the help of qualitative and quantitative survey methods, it examined the mobility behavior of people in urban, suburban, and rural areas. Mobility mindsets play a decisive role in user-oriented planning of new transport offers, revealing a range of motivations. The mindsets can be a valuable starting point in identifying target users when designing a mobility service. So in essence, a purely supply-oriented approach in traffic planning may be one path to the goal, but a user-centered planning presents a more targeted approach that brings together the hard mobility data with a soft human psychology. We believe the future of traffic planning combines both worlds, the detailed knowledge of the mobility network, enriched with psychological insights into potential users. Both play a foundational role in planning successful mobility services. To do so, planners need to adopt a new mindset. In addition to analyzing the traffic data alone, planners nowadays must answer the following questions. What motivates people when they choose a particular means of transport? And how can old behavioral patterns best be changed? In essence, planning, not just of new offerings, is key to creating successful new mobility services.
If you want to transport people, you have to know what really moves them. Therefore, we also looked at the human side, the human mobility mindset, as we call it, in the Lac Le Mans region, and the impact on that service. Let's look at what moves the people and resonates well in the Lac Le Mans region, Pidou, which is a zeitgeist city archetype, as mentioned. And one of them, at the top right-hand corner, is the comfort seekers. So if we go one more slide, comfort seekers, as you can see here, who are they? If we look at them, let's look at their pain points, typical pain points they have, right? They have a lack of vital space. Sharing a car or a seat with someone else creates significant source of stress for them. And if we think about what are the change levers we need to consider to make their behavior change, and this is the most tricky part. People don't change their behavior if it's about mobility so easily. If we want to do that, we need to make them a kind of feel at home. Let's call it home. The place they feel most comfortable is home. And if you can do that, they will follow anyone who makes them take home on their journey, to give them a bit of that, or making them feel special. So customization really matters to them.
In essence, what is the difference of our approach that we call when quant meets qual? With our two-step approach to traffic planning, we provide a valuable insight into how operators and authorities can really design a targeted mobility offer that improves local uptake. In the current environment, a purely supply-oriented planning approach will only get you so far. To reach your destination, it's more important than ever to focus on people and the human side. In this respect, the pandemic has been a wake-up call for traffic planners to change the perspective and to take a greater account of the needs, fears, and habits of the future users. The crisis is set to fundamentally change mobility as we know it, with a significantly broader mix of mobility options and providers. We'll see more private operators tailoring services to address users' anxieties. With falling revenues from the pandemic, the public sector will need to use financial resources more wisely and than ever before, and in a more targeted fashion. By working together, private mobility companies and rail and transit operators can help each other accomplish these goals. All of this is based on a better planning and a combination of data and human factors, plus a profitability analysis of how this business model actually can be brought into operation on a profitable basis. Our new approach is a significant contribution to these efforts, and our outcomes are generated in 6 to 8 weeks. We believe that this is the way forward, and we are happy to get into further discussions around future metropolitan areas that are interested in these kinds of analyses. Thank you very much.